Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back putting a positive spin on Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Listen, guys. Halloween 5 has always been one of my favorite Halloween sequels. In fact, it's in my top 5 when ranking the franchise. Admittedly, though, this one is extra nostalgic for me because it's the first Halloween film I saw in theaters. Despite that, I think it's a really good slasher sequel. For this positive spin, I think I'll mention some of the things people claim to hate about Halloween 5 and tell you why I don't think they are negatives. Then, of course, I'll tell you some of my other positives as well. Starting it off with one thing people claim to hate about Halloween 5, the mask. It's referred to as the long neck Myers mask or the big neck Myers mask. Well, as most of us know, the mask looked that way because it had to fit Don Shanks, who played Michael Myers in this sequel. Honestly, though, it's not the worst mask in the franchise. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst. And it certainly doesn't make me hate the movie. I actually find the mask to be pretty creepy. It's menacing. I also love the Brute mask, which is featured in Halloween 5 later in the movie. But that's just another positive of mine. I sort of wish Michael killed while wearing that Brute mask, but I'm sure the fandom would have a field day with that. It would be just another thing for people to complain about. I would have loved it myself. It would have been something different. Another thing people hate about this sequel is the Myers house. Look, I get it. It's different. It's clearly not the same house and doesn't even resemble the same house from the previous Halloween films. Regardless, I actually prefer the Myers house in Halloween 5 and wish it had been the same house all along. I love the gothic look to it. Plus, it has that laundry chute. Again, the house being different doesn't take me out of the film. It does not make me hate this movie. People hate the cops in Halloween 5, and more specifically, the clown music that plays when they're first introduced. I'll admit, that was an interesting decision to say the least. But again, does it make me hate the movie? No. It's a slasher sequel. It's okay if it's cheesy and silly, and that's really the silliest thing about this movie. In fact, it would probably be the one thing I would change, but even with it still in the movie, it doesn't change my opinion on the film. A lot of people don't like the whole telepathy storyline of Halloween 5. For me, it works, and it doesn't really take up that much of the film. Is it important? Yeah, I'd say so, but it works in the context of this universe. There are plenty of people who find Tina annoying in Halloween 5. And while I do see that, I actually really like her character. She died a hero, and she also gives us one of the biggest nip-slips in horror history. There are those who claim to hate the Man in Black storyline introduced in Halloween 5. I personally feel, though, a lot of those people might be letting their opinion of Halloween 6 influence their opinion of Halloween 5. It's not so much the Man in Black storyline they disapprove of, it's his identity, which isn't revealed until the next movie. In Halloween 5, I think the Man in Black adds a cool mystery element to the film. And at the time, I wasn't alone in feeling that way. It was years between Halloween 5 and Halloween 6, and in that time, people were dying to know the Man in Black's identity and his reason for being in the movie. People were excited about it. Their disappointment, I think, came when the reveal was made in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I just don't think we should fault Halloween 5 for the lack of a better word, failures of Halloween 6. People take issue with the unmasking of Michael Myers in this one, and when this movie was released, that was a big selling point. On the back of this VHS tape, you can even see it says, Michael Myers is finally unmasked. I'm not sure why it says finally, since he was unmasked in the very first film, but regardless, like I said, it was a selling point. I like the unmasking. I like that we see just enough of his face, but not too much. And yes, I know he's not burned, but hey, let's suspend some disbelief. It's a slasher. The last major reason people give for hating Halloween 5 is the death of Rachel. Now, for a long time, I sort of agreed. I thought it was disappointing how she made it through Halloween 4 the way she did, to only be killed off so early on in Halloween 5. As the years have gone on, though, I've learned to appreciate it more. It was unexpected, and Rachel served her purpose in Halloween 4. Much like Alice in the original Friday the 13th, being killed off in the opening scene in Friday the 13th Part 2. Rachel's story was over, and it added shock value to this sequel. It also made it very clear to the audience that no one was safe in Halloween 5. The person who protected Jamie all through the previous film was dead. This, in a way, opened up the door for Loomis to be the protector in Halloween 5. Which brings me to one of my big positives for the sequel. Loomis is completely unhinged, and I love every minute of it. In my opinion, he's in his most unhinged, in fact, in Halloween 5, and that's how I've always thought of him growing up. He delivers some of his best lines in this one, and gives a memorable performance. Without Rachel, we get more focus on his character, and more Loomis is never a bad thing. Unless, of course, you were part of the test audience for Halloween 6, but I'll get to that in another video. I love the Halloween atmosphere of this one. It has a great autumn feel, and it really gets me in the mood for Halloween. Like Halloween 4, and later Halloween 6, Halloween 5 was filmed in Utah. It follows Halloween 4 so well. I enjoy the most when watching Halloween 4 and Halloween 5 back to back. Vincent's Drugstore also makes an appearance, which I love. Don Shanks, in my opinion, is probably the most underrated Michael Myers. I like that he doesn't just stand still. He sort of paces around. I like the way he holds the knife. He just gives a different portrayal of the mass murderer. In addition to the Tina nip slip I mentioned earlier, we get a flash of Rachel's bush in the shower in Halloween 5, so that's a positive. The kills are pretty cool in the sequel, especially the use of farming equipment at the Tower Farm. I love the Tower Farm Halloween party scenes, by the way. There are some great chase scenes, including the one through the Christmas tree farm. And the entire third act is super suspenseful, with Jamie trying to hide from Michael in the Myers house. That's where that infamous laundry chute scene comes into play. Speaking of suspenseful, the opening credits of this one really set the mood, with the hacking of the jack-o'-lantern and the fast-paced music. It's probably the most violent pumpkin carving scene ever put on film. I know I could say a lot more about Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, because I love this sequel so much, but I'll leave it at that. You get the idea. There are plenty of positives for this one, and I definitely don't think it deserves the hate it receives. Yes, nostalgia does play a huge role, but I still think Halloween 5 is a fantastic slasher sequel. But, as I always say in these videos, you don't have to agree. This is just my positive spin. Be sure to check out Jason's as well. To which hated Halloween sequel will we next give a positive spin? Check back soon to find out. Until then, what do you think of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and, be kind, subscribe.